So I got the email from Robertson Trust just saying that they were getting involved in this career pathway with Burness Paull, which was amazing. And I had actually applied for Burness Paull the previous year and I wasn't successful. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, this is going to be a great chance to learn more about the application process and learn more about the firm as well.
There's an email that came through from yourselves that promoted the pathway, and it was the first sort of email that come through about a commercial law firm. So as soon as I noticed it, thought I would keep in touch with you about it and find out a bit more about the career pathway.
You apply for the summer internship, and then that 4-week placement is essentially like a 4-week-long interview. It's very relaxed. It doesn't feel like you're constantly on edge, like you're constantly in an interview, but they are keeping an eye on your performance, how you're getting on with everyone in the firm.
For me, it was 2 weeks in employment law and then 2 weeks in dispute resolution. So at that point, I hadn't studied employment law at university at all. It was just where I ended up on the placement, so I was a bit worried that I wasn't going to, be prepped enough to go into it. But no, we spent, on the first day, you get some training and an induction from the HR team, and then once you meet your, the team in employment, they were happy to sort of help and explain, how all the systems work and how to do the research, because you already have sort of basic research skills from university, so it's just using those in that workplace, in that team.
We got to learn more about the firm's values and what goes on behind the scenes to the internship, get a general overview of the picture. And then my first 2 weeks of the internship was in the real estate team, and I was assigned a trainee buddy, and that trainee buddy was in the first year of their traineeship. So that meant they were only 2 years ahead of me. So it meant they knew my situation quite well. They understood how I was feeling in my internship and understood the pressures at university of just finishing undergrad and trying to secure a traineeship before going on to diploma. And after each seat, so I had the two-week placements. After each 2 weeks, my supervisor would write up a report on how high I'd done and if they had any concerns or if there was anything they were really pleased with. And that got sent on to graduate recruitment. And then they kind of used those reports and from their own conversations with me and stuff to decide whether then to go in and offer me a place on the training contract.
I think while I was going through university, there was a lot of people, other students who had been, sort of die-hard commercial law fans, who were, really well versed in the Financial Times and, were quite keen on doing it. And I think when you compare yourself to those sorts of people, I wasn't so sure whether that was something that I would fit into or something that I was, prepared or capable of doing myself. But after getting a place on the Burness Paull placement and realising that not everyone is die-hard commercial law fans, or that people are more interested in you as a person rather than how much a sort of black letter commercial law that I actually really enjoyed it and actually really enjoyed the work.
Having the trainee buddies that I mentioned, it was just so good that they were so close to us in the life of a lawyer. They're only 2 years ahead, so they totally understood where we were, and it was good to be able to see where I'll be in 2 years' time and be able to ask them questions of even things like work-life balance can sometimes be a bit scary asking senior lawyers about, because you don't want to come across as though you don't want to work, but you also do want a good work-life balance. And those kind of questions, it was really easy to ask the trainees because they totally understand everyone's situation.
So they done a networking session for Burness Paull scholars, I think it was, where we got to meet their trainee solicitors that were already working at the firm, which gave us a good idea of what work they were actually doing on a day-to-day basis and give us an idea of what the summer placement may look like. So especially for scholars who maybe hadn't looked into vacation schemes or how a commercial law firm works, it was really nice to actually meet trainees already in the firm and how they felt about the summer placement and what they'd done on it to give us an idea of before we actually took part in it. Probably completely different to what I would have imagined commercial law to look like. I think I had the idea of it being very much like Suits and that everyone would be, dressed up. It would be very sort of very, very like, hyper commercial, all about business, making money, and where it was absolutely the opposite when I was there. I mean, it was far more casual. Of course, you know, you wear your suit for picture day, and then after that, it's just like, you know, very normal clothes. And everyone there was like, could not be more helpful and polite. And even the partners, they don't have their own sort of like glass like box room. They sit with the trainees and the other solicitors, and you're able to approach them and have a chat. And you know, as a summer student, you think that you might not want to take up partners' time, but the partners come over straight away to introduce themselves. And on the first 10 minutes on the placement, we were in a meeting with the partners and the rest of the trainees and the solicitors in the team to meet them all. So they're quite happy to give you their time, which is something I think people think lawyers are too busy to provide any time to you, but that was the case.
Well, it's been really good. From the outset, they've been really big on like social mobility and environmental campaigns and stuff, which is really good. It's good to be able to see like their stance on like different issues, which was really good that introduction day on the internship, because they kind of laid out like all their policies and what they're trying to do to combat different issues within the legal sector.
Just go for it. I think, you know, don't be put off if you think that you didn't enjoy commercial law at university, or that it hadn't been one of your favourite subjects, because actually studying it and then being there for a few weeks were completely different. And yeah, not to put off by thinking that you know you're not good enough, or you're not maybe like commercial law or solicitor material, because that absolutely won't be the case. It wasn't the case for me.
I would say definitely do it. As I mentioned, I applied for Burness Paull's summer internship the year previous to the career pathway starting, and I wasn't successful. And I just don't think I knew enough about the firm to make my application stand out. And then the sessions that were hosted through the career pathway with Burness Paull before the application opened really made me like open my eyes to Burness Paull and like what goes on at their firm and what their values are. And I think that's what really made my application stronger the second time around.
But at Burness Paull, they were very keen on day one to explain the fact that, you know, it's not a competition between the students, you know, that there are for the people who are on the placement. It's not a fact that there are less training contracts available than the number of students. So it's not that you should feel that everyone is your competitor. It was more that you should see everyone just as another summer student, which actually made it much more fun. And I think we made a lot of friends on the placement.